So I am so excited to be here. This is my second year here at the Southeast Plant Show. I love going to a show. I love talking and doing the things, right? And we are going to be talking today about repurpose to grow, because anything's a greenhouse. Okay, a lot of people are excited. This is dope. We are feeling it, and we're going to go ahead into the next slide. What do you mean the presenter has left the session? Mm. Mm. Oh, I somehow got off of the internet. I don't know how that happened. We're just going to go to the next slide. Boom. So here's the thing. Ooh, that is very frustrating, but it's okay because I hate to be stuck up here. When it comes to you as a plant parent, right? You being a person who wants to grow something, a houseplant, a vegetable, right? Something that has meaning to you in some way, shape, or form, you may want to grow it in a better way than what you already have, right? Me, for example, I have been growing millions of plants for years, literally millions of plants for years, right? It's a flex. I'm excited about it. But when it came to me growing at home, I needed something different, right? So you can make a greenhouse in your home. Now I know what some of you are thinking, greenhouses, Derek, what do you mean? Well, what I mean is you can make a greenhouse that's not gigantic. It's not 40,000 acres, right? But it can be something that is adjacent to the basic terminology of a greenhouse in your space, in your place, with stuff that's often cheap or free, right? And as cheap as I am, as frugal as I am, it can work out in that way for you. It could be sustainable and you can set it up. Now, this one, my cousin Chad Jibbity, he helped me to put this together, okay? He really helped me to get this together. So this is the one I try to read, okay? In this course, participants will master the fundamental requirements for creating effective greenhouse environments, including managing optimal light, warmth, moisture. You'll learn how to innovate, be creative. We're going to be talking about creativity by transforming common household items into functional mini greenhouses. Fostering a mindset of sustainability and creativity. We're going to do some DIY projects. I got a couple of things I'm going to do on hand. I had a video I was trying to record and edit, but I was busy this week. So we're just going to do this in-house. Y'all are so excited. I can already feel it, right? That's right, excitement. Emphasis is going to be placed on using recycled and repurposed materials. I kind of skip down, right? You're going to learn how to be environmentally conscious when we're doing this, in addition to developing problem-solving skills to maintain healthy plant growth, right? And that's where some of your questions, your comments, or your concerns will come in. Now, I want you to note this presentation, like some of the others where I mentioned things of a historical nature, leads us to an impasse. There are some things that I will talk about, and there's like one specific area of greenhouse history that I'll talk about where I only have what I have. I only have the information that I have. When it comes to colonialization kind of ran amok historicity. So I will often say something is the first recorded instance of something, or the oldest reference we have. Because if it was done by brown and black people, it was often just burnt down, torn asunder, and ran amok. Okay, so keep that in mind. I really am proud of this. This is a real beautiful thing. There's usually stuff going on behind it, but the internet here is insane. So we're going to keep going. Okay, keep those in mind. Now, house rules. Number one, there's no such thing as a dumb question. Okay, we're going to be going fast because Doc Block was in here. The people were so excited. He ate into my time. So I'm going to be going fast, eating into somebody else's time. That's right. It's Golden Corral in here. There's no stupid questions, okay? There's no such thing. Every question you have across the corridors of your cerebral cortex is important. Part two, I want you to hold those questions, even though they're important, till the end. Why? Because my attention span is rough, okay? My attention span is about as short as some of the people in this room. Y'all are real short. Y'all should have ate all your vitamins. When it came to that, I get distracted, it ruins the whole thing. My train of thought derails every 5 minutes. Newspapers write about it all the time. Derail, derail, derail. Thank you for laughing. That was a joke. Oh, I'm not done yet. Participate when possible, okay? Go from there. Do what we can to participate. I may ask questions or have you consider something and think about it. Learn and have fun and engage your creativity. This class is going to be something where I kind of get you started and Okay, there we go. I was like, let me answer. I want to talk to the people. Well, I may get you started, but you have to engage your creativity. I'm going to give you basic tenets of what a greenhouse is and how I have made some of these things work. But I need you all to open up what the possibilities can be, which frankly can be infinite. I got this quote here, this beautiful quote. I need somebody to read this quote for me. Ooh, I love that. Say that one more again for me. Thank you for reading that last part. Look at you. Look at you. And you know what? Since you read that last part, because I'm giving away stuff, I didn't know if I told y'all this. You get a bottle of Retain. They are a sponsor of a podcast I'm on Mondays, Eastern Standard Time on Instagram. So you get that. You are welcome. So when it comes to this African American proverb, this is really where this course and my mindset in making these greenhouses came from. Am I the first person to do the things I do? I would hope so. I tell people that. It's most likely not true. But am I a person who is ingenuitive, is creative, is daring? Yes. So when it comes to what we're doing in our home spaces to grow your plants, even outside of the concept of making a greenhouse, you can use whatever you have to get what you need, as long as we're doing it in the scientific foundations of what it means to be a greenhouse or to grow plants. Those of you who've been to some of my classes and follow my content know I'm not for banana water. We don't mean use what we got to put some banana peels in water and make plant water and fertilize stuff. That upsets me. Between that and that Dr. Sebi, if I hear them names, I tear off. My blood pressure goes sky high every time. It's like when James had that hypertension. I ain't mad that he had a chair up. Good times. It was a show back in the day. You young people that don't remember, and they killed James off in Mississippi. Anywho, this is what you do. Get what you got to get what you need. Okay? We're going on. This is our presentation overview. And again, this was real beautiful with the stuff that was supposed to be moving in the background. It was real gorgeous. I really don't know why, of all days, the internet was like, nope. Okay, these are the things we're going to talk about. Number one, we're going to define what a greenhouse is. Defining greenhouses. All of us have been to them at some point, but we're going to talk about what it means to be a greenhouse. We're going to grow history, growing history. We're going to check the climate. I need to write that part down. Check the climate. That's a better title. We're going to repurpose to grow, and then we are going to be equipped to grow. Okay, this is a lighter presentation than the others I have done, because this is going to be more you-centric, with you saying, well, what about this? What can I do this? And us thinking about stuff, in addition to me making some stuff and then doing a giveaway at the end, because I have some soil I know she's excited. I have some soil I'm giving away at the end, okay? So this is going to need you to drop any fears of asking anything that sounds rough. I know, again, if you follow me on the internet, it may seem like I am a snapping turtle ready to bite people whenever they do something seemingly wild. And I know you laugh, but people think that. Some people come to me and they be like, well, I didn't know it. I'm like, I'm so approachable, except when it comes to foolishness. But outside of that, I'm super approachable. So approachable. So we're going to talk about greenhouse. What is that? That's a handsome young man. I want you, ooh, that's bright. I got to turn that color down. That is real bright. I need to redesign that one. Okay, everyone, under the sound of my voice, I think this is being recorded or streamed somewhere. I want you to consider the following. Everyone, we're going to do a little exercise. You can trust everybody in here. You're going to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and then out. And as we are breathing, we are going into our memory banks and we are reflecting on a time we've been in a greenhouse, any greenhouse at all. There we go. Any greenhouse. Lord, some people don't want to do it. Any greenhouse at all. See, the people done already messed up the first rule. The first rule said participate. People eyes open. They're like, I ain't going to, they finna get me. Let me watch and see what they doing. I swear I ain't doing nothing crazy. But reflect on a greenhouse you've been in. This could be industrial, for those of us who work in the industry. This could be a greenhouse connected to a house plantery, right? This could be a mini greenhouse your family built in their backyard. Anybody. Okay, I'm going to call on a name at random who has been in a greenhouse and ask you, what did you notice? Okay, this name is totally at random. Cola. I noticed natural light and I knew you were going to say my name. She knew that was a good lead in. She was like, yep, it's me. You notice natural light. We love that. Total random. Picking another name out of the hat. Davina, what you notice? All of the beautiful plants being so happy and their enclosed space. Enclosed space. It's almost like she's seen my notes. She hacked into my computer. That's why it's not working, because she knows what's going on. One last person. Okay, my buddy here from the Durham Bull City Bow Bow. I noticed the humidity. Humidity. The heat. Uh-huh. And, well, mainly the humidity and the heat. Okay. And the moisture. Everything is moist. Everything is moist. So we talked about good things, right? We talked about the light incidents. Okay, things to consider. This is what we think about when we're growing plants in general, right? Light. She talked about the heat, okay? The temperature. You can open your eyes now. I didn't say that, but you can open your eyes now. The heat, right? How warm is it in that space? And then we talked about just other environmental factors, heat, humidity, and the moistness of it all. Now, when we're thinking of this environment, we're thinking of things that are related to the setup, the space. There may be equipment pieces you see that you don't know what they are, right? And I'm not going to go into the true inner workings of a greenhouse. That could be another class for another day, right? The true things that you can use to really make a automated, gigantomous greenhouse that a person can walk in, or if you're growing industrially, something you can use. Whole other thing, right? But there's certain material concepts, there's certain space concepts, certain environmental concepts that we have to consider. Now, I want you all to keep in mind, a greenhouse is a greenhouse, no matter how much money you spend. No matter how much time and effort you put into it, it's a greenhouse. Now, if I put $100 versus $1 million, the $1 million greenhouse is most likely going to be better, but it's still a greenhouse, right? What I'm growing can still look beautiful in one of my setups at home, and I show them online all the time, versus an industrial greenhouse where you can get it from an area where people are walking and doing everything. It doesn't need to be the most beautiful looking thing in the world. It just needs to be efficient and effective. Okay? Keeping in mind with what a greenhouse is. Well, we kind of said it, right? She said enclosed space. It says it right there, enclosure. A climate-controlled enclosure for plant growth. That is the basic definition of a greenhouse. That means anything that is enclosed can be fully or semi-enclosed, a couple of walls, right? And it's climate controlled. I can kind of impact what the temperature is going to be. That is a greenhouse. Alternative terms for greenhouse. We have glass house, hot house, conservatory, and terrarium. Now, how many of you have ever considered a terrarium to be a greenhouse? Before now, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. How many of you are looking like this man don't know what he's talking about? What does he mean a terrarium is a greenhouse? Y'all can raise your hands. Ain't no shame here. There we go. We got 2. Oh, we got 1. Okay, I love it. Please don't leave her alone. We're going to count you as 2. So I wrestled over this on last night. Why? Because a terrarium is typically looked at as a different situation because it has soil and water, and we're self-contained. You don't typically open them, and the water is recycled through, and it's a self-enclosed space where plants are growing, right? It's something where I live this plant in here for its whole life cycle, and forever and a day, more of these are being okay in here. Terrariums are progenerating or creating, leading into their own enclosed environment that is forever trapped with soil and moisture and plants living. So cool. But I've worked in numerous greenhouses, and we're going to talk about my work experience in a little bit. I've worked in numerous greenhouses. And there's some greenhouses I worked in where a purple inch plant, a purple queen, trade scantia, that plant has broken off. It got onto the floor where dirt washes off and everything else happens. And that plant is now a permanent fixture until they redid the floors of that greenhouse at North Carolina State University, a permanent fixture of that greenhouse. So a terrarium can sometimes be a stretch, but it's still climate controlled in a sense, right? I can either put it in the sun or I can move it away from the sun. So this is, again, engaging creativity. This is why we're thinking about these things. Climate controlled doesn't need to be that I push a button and the temperature immediately drops. It could be a fan. It could be movement. It could be shading. I cover it with a blanket. It could be any of those things. That is climate controlled. The materials of a greenhouse and terrariums can be glass, plastic, PVC. There could be metal. It could be plexiglass. It can be so many different things that it is made from. And the goal of any greenhouse is to get phenomenal growth, almost a perfect environment to grow your plants all year long, in addition to protecting your plants. Your plants need to be protected from what? If they're outdoors, winter, right? We're here in Georgia. I'm in North Carolina, except for the people who are in Florida and better than us. We have, because them people in Florida, they think they're real good. Because they're like, oh, I grow my pothos outside and my leaves get this big. And then they take pictures and send it to me and be like, Derek, you see my leaves? It's this big and I didn't do nothing to it. And then I go to TaskRabbit and pay somebody to kick it over. But when it comes to the greenhouse growth, if your plants were ever kicked over, it was me. I paid good money to have that happen. When it comes to that, we're protecting our plants from the environment, the elements, in addition to insects and pests, right? It's another way of considering it. I want to grow these plants and protect them. And we're going to the history of greenhouses. That will make more sense of why we got into that place. Now, when we are talking about a greenhouse and you are considering what is a greenhouse, it is two things. It is enclosed and it is semi-regulated, right? I can change that temperature. I can regulate it. So it's enclosed and it's regulated. It's enclosed and it's regulated. It's enclosed and it's regulated. So we know those two things. We will be in it to win it. Now, getting fancier with your greenhouses. I've done some fancy stuff at home. You can do some automations. Automations is connecting it to a system so when something happens, when something else happens. For the quickie of automations, all of us do it. When a certain time happens, phone ring, and let me know I'm late for this, or wake me up, or da-da-da-da-da. When somebody touches my car and they're not supposed to, set off the car alarm. Those are automations. For a greenhouse, it can be when this temperature reaches this much, cut off the lights, cut on a fan, open these roof vents, extend a shade curtain, right? For us that are working with the greenhouses that we're going to be working with, some of those things can still be true, especially when you're working with some of the more fancier models. But when we're repurposing things, we can still do connect it to a Bluetooth outlet. And we'll talk about that further in. Let that Bluetooth outlet say when the temperature reaches whatever, cut off this heating mat. Automations are dope, right? And with automations, it also goes into like monitoring your greenhouse, which there are systems you can do. I was going to talk about it, but I decided to take it out. Okay. Why did I take it out? Because this is my time now to talk about my experience and my background. This is my note. I tell myself to do it and I do it because I follow directions. Sometimes. So I started first working in a greenhouse around 2010, 2011, long time ago. I worked as a intern, pretty much a tech working in a greenhouse at North Carolina State University called the Phytotron. The Phytotron was a beautiful area, different greenhouses and chambers that literally got me curious about how could I do something in a sense with these greenhouses, with these spaces. I watered plants, I helped people with experiments, I washed dishes, I sanitized soil, I did all types of stuff that I later adapted to my workings when I'm at home, right? I later worked at a company called Medicago USA where we used tobacco to produce vaccines. It was a phenomenal company. I worked there for 9 years. And I told my boss man, he said, I said, I'm going to work at this company until y'all drag me out kicking and screaming, or I die, or this place shut down. And the third one happened because the place went under. It was rough. I was real sad. I was like, dang, I was just telling him that a couple of weeks ago. And now we got the email and it was under. I was making great money. It is. And I was making good money. God knows I was. I had hit them 6 figures and I was excited. And that's something that's unique within the greenhouse industry and the plant world, right? But I was also a pharmaceutical company, so they paid us good money, great money. 401k, I had 4 weeks of vacation. I'd go and do whatever I wanted. I had sick time. I had assurance, blessed assurance. I could go to the doctor's office and do what I wanted. It was amazing, right? But I had all those years of greenhouse experience, and there I learned not only how to be in a greenhouse and how to work with growing plants in mass, but how to actually automate greenhouses. And it really impacted my view on plant growth, being in this space. We only grew one plant, Nicotiana benthaminiana, which is an Australian species of tobacco, right? But, and those of you who are like, dang, he said that fast, you can too. Nicotiana benthaminiana. Bingo! You see how you got it? Simple. I did all of that. I grew these plants. I worked with this automated system. I became an expert. Company went under, and now I'm in the pharmaceutical industry. So I'm not in the greenhouse world anymore, even though I'm still a plant biologist. When it comes to, again, my framework and shaping of this, when you do things on an industrious level with people who do got money, that makes you really say, if the concept is I just need heat and water, humidity, an enclosure, some lights, I can do that with just these few things, like MacGyver used to. I used to love MacGyver. I loved MacGyver. MacGyver was phenomenal, and he made things happen using what he had to got what he needed. Most people don't know this, but he was actually biracial. I'm lying. I said that real quick. You almost believed it. I slipped it in there. I was like, let me just see. Let me see if they do it. I almost had you. I had you with it. And I was going to be like, it's an episode. Y'all didn't see the pilot? Anywho, it's a thing. He used what he had. So MacGyvering, fixing, rigging these things up is a good way to go. So we're going to talk about types of greenhouses. Their pictures are supposed to be there, but the internet isn't on. So there are different, I know, sad, ain't it? I went through all the trouble last night of moving all these images around just for this not to work. This is some stuff, but we're going to keep going. That Wi-Fi is not. It's like my father. It says it's going to be there, but it never shows up. He said it all the time. He was like, I'm going to see you. I don't fall for him anymore. You know, you would think I do. You know, you got to get the people, to get the people interested, it takes some work.
And you're like a plant.
Uh-huh.
You know, the basic things a plant needs.
Exactly.
Water, soil, sunlight.
Exactly.
And
Wi-Fi.
No, all we need from you is your knowledge,
Yes.
your experience,
Uh-huh.
and your positive attitude.
Well, we're definitely going to take all of that. I appreciate it. So let's see if this all is working. So the rest of this is good. So there's various types of greenhouses. And we're going to pretend, actually, this is great. I'm glad you said that because that's the picture. So if you go to your cellular devices and you go to your cellular devices and you type in types of greenhouse, there's an image that comes from Times of Agriculture. And that shows you the different types of greenhouses. You can pull it up on your cellular phone, okay? If and you got signal, if you're like me, you don't. So you're just gonna have to look on with somebody else, okay? Now, when it comes to these types of greenhouses, I show you this so you can see the dichotomy. There's hoop houses, these big structures with PVC and plastic over them, right? Place I went to in Suffolk, Norfolk, Lancaster, somewhere in Virginia. There's an area I went to. I can't remember where it was. I feel like it was that, but I also feel like it was like something. I'm mixing up a lot of city names, and I was trying to remember the name of the place, but I can't remember their name at all of this company. But there's a company somewhere in Northern Virginia, whereas they are like growing beautiful plants year round, and they have these hoop houses. Again, structures of PVC pipe or metal. They just cover them with plastic, pull it off. It's amazing. There's traditional standalone greenhouses. There's greenhouses that are on the side of your house and everything else. In addition to terrariums and Wardian cases, which we'll come to later if those pictures pop up. But we will see. We're going to go to this next slide, which I think this one was a picture of me. That picture of me, oh, it's not even showing anything now. It's showing the old ways this looked. How about that? So there was a picture of me. If you type in my name in Metacargo, you can see me on the internet working in a greenhouse. I'm just gonna pretend like it's there, and I'm working in a greenhouse, and I'm pulling plants up. Doesn't it look nice? My hair was way shorter in that picture, as you can see. And I had on my grays. I had on like gray scrubs, and I worked again at Metacargo in this gigantinormous greenhouse that was automated. This automation meant that we could just, once I took over and really learned the system, we could say greenhouse be these temperature standpoints, be these environmental standpoints, and within reason, it would be. The equipment would work with each other to make things happen. Again, for this class, we're going very base level, very simple. Okay, so we're going to skip over this picture. I know y'all want to look at me more. That's me. That's me. But you got. So we're going to go to this next, which is growing history. There was all types of pictures on this one too. This is sad, but it's okay. We're going to keep going. I'll talk to the people thereafter. So, because this internet, I just need to download stuff is probably what I need to do.
This is a great picture.
Say that again. Oh, I am. But them pictures, I like for the people to see. Because when you see, you believe. Oh, thank you. So, earliest recorded record of a greenhouse, right? This is the earliest recorded. This is what I was talking about on that blue slide about colonialization, right? Since Roman times, at least, is the earliest record of a greenhouse kind of protected situation, right? Did this happen in Africa or some other place outside of Rome before then? Who's to say? We don't have any record of it. When it comes to this, Emperor Tiberius, he loved this cucumber-like vegetable. Loved it a lot. He was getting probably dill pickles, pickle relish. He was probably doing gherkins. He was probably cutting them cucumbers up, putting them over his eyes, chewing on them in sour cream. He probably went to the Roman equivalent of Publix and was like, let me go out here and get me some more of these cucumbers, zucchini, everything, right? And he would be kind of sad that he could only have them when it was seasonal. Because we have to think about it, greenhouses extend seasons, right? That's what these growing places do. Before that, if it wasn't the season for strawberries, you just have to wait. I hope you remember what they taste like. You're going to keep that in your head. Oh, you want a watermelon in the middle of December? Sucks for you. You're going to have to wait, right? And don't get me started on plants that were in different continents or countries. We have luxuries of being able to enjoy transcontinental plants from our grocery stores, from our farmers markets. They didn't have that back then. So what had happened? Innovation happened. The Roman people made these wheelbarrows, right? They put the cucumber plant into a wheelbarrow. They would wheel it out during the day when it was warmer. When it was cooler, they'd wheel it back in. Amazing. They also had some stone structures that they would make where it would kind of keep some of the temperature, the heat of the day out, let light in, and kind of insulate and warm up that area, area around the plant. Now, this ended up evolving to, in Korea, the 1450s, right? They had the first artificially heated greenhouse. They had this process called ondel. I may be terribly mispronouncing that. Doesn't matter though, y'all can't look it up in here. And they had this heating system that was built under the floor that they used, and they used that in their greenhouse spaces. So now, not only are you growing in a space that is insulated to a certain extent, but you can actually heat it up. And heat is an important process to a lot of these vegetable crops that we love, especially when we think about spring and summer. Okay? And they had insulated walls and transparent windows so they could let light in and hold in temperature. Holding in temperature is really important. And lastly, as we get to the 1600s, the stove heated greenhouse, okay, which touched me because I know how many times I've used a stove to heat up my house. When it came to that, didn't get nobody? Stoves heating up your house? You open up the stove, thank you. I was like, that is hilarious. I used a stove to heat up my house and it's cold. Anywho, they used that in the United Kingdom to grow medicinal plants. What those medicinal plants were, I don't know. But they would use that to grow. So we went from just a wheelbarrow in the 14th, year. There we go. I noticed I'm missing a parenthesis. And I was like, dang it, why did I do that? 14th year to in almost 2,000 years being able to have an actual space. These spaces were not like the greenhouses that are super automated, but they're more akin to what we have now when we come to simple greenhouses, right? And these people didn't even have the internet. They just had to figure it out. But this also goes to the Wardian case. Now, that white spot is a picture. Okay, y'all can see it. There's a picture right there. You can Google what a Wardian case is. They had something that looked akin to it actually in this building. Okay, and I took a picture of it. I was going to throw it up, but I'm glad I didn't because reasons. So this was introduced, invented, innovated on. Depending on who you talk to, there's different terminologies for it because things like this apparently kind of existed, but not really, by Nathaniel Bagshaw Ward. He was a medical doctor who fancied himself a plant hobbyist, right? He loved him some plants, the plants loved him, and he said, let me go ahead and get into this. He had a glass bottle that he had a fern in. He's sitting minding his own business, right? As a matter of fact, you'll love this story. He had a fern in his bottle, and he noticed when he left that bottle contained, a spore sprouted and another fern grew. Ooh, right? That fern ended up leading him to be like, well, wait a minute, how did this work? And he kind of messed around with the idea, thought about it, messed around with the idea before he created these Wardian cases. Now, for those of you who looked up Wardian cases are the reason that you can enjoy chocolate, vanilla, coffee, tea, orchids of any way, and a lot of the fruits and vegetables we enjoy. Things that had to come across continents, these Wardian cases are it. Why is that it? These Wardian cases are terrariums. Now, we had the person who was like, terrariums are different. Let me tell you why this Wardian case, terrarium, greenhouse, all that connection. A Wardian case at the bottom of it, and we're gonna go to the next picture here. At the bottom of this Wardian case here, this big brown box, you can see it had soil right there at the bottom. And that soil would keep the moisture in. They would basically seal it up, soil, plant, put it together. It had glass on it so light could get in. It had air holes so air could kind of escape and leave and come in, but it was mostly locked up. So that way, when you're traveling across sea, it could be protected. What would it be protected by if you're traveling across the ocean? What do we want to protect it from? Salt. Salt water, salt spray. Before, you would try to take rhizomes and seeds and hope for the best, right? You'd put them somewhere. Those people on that ship don't care nothing about plants. They just work there. They just barely getting a check. They probably were kidnapped in the middle of the night to go and do some pirate stuff because they fell in love with this blonde woman and she was like, Wesley, why aren't you here? And then he took over the role of the Dread Pirate Roberts. And now you're working here on this boat trying to get these plants together. And somebody wants you to care about something you don't because you're just trying to get back to your woman before she gets married to the evil prince. That's the Princess Bride. When it comes to that, these people didn't care. But a Wardian case made it where the botanists, amateur or expert, could just put it in, and 9 times out of 10, it was in its own self-contained environment to travel the oceans and the seas. Without that, again, tea, vanilla, chocolate, various houseplants we love, they wouldn't make it till the advent of the airplane, right? Wardian cases were phenomenal. Side note, though, the history behind them isn't because a lot of that collection was done by enslaved or ran amok people who were native to the areas they were taking it from. I know. Climate is everything. I'm glad these last two are really like no pictures except for the one video I wanted to show you, but it's okay. So climate is everything, party people. And this is where all of this is relating down to. The enclosure only works because we're making a environment. I forgot to delete that part. We're making an environment. Don't read that last one. Y'all stop reading that last one. We made an environment that is special to the plants, right? So the definition of environment, of climate within a greenhouse space is as follows. Environmental factors that can influence a space, right? Climate outdoors is one thing, but climate inside can be temperature, which is how hot or cold it is, right? What's the actual temperature in the space? Humidity or vapor pressure deficit, VPD. How much water vapor is in the air? Some plants want to be in a high humid environment, right? Like our aeroids. Light, how much light is in the space and the color of the light, right? We kind of think about that with some of the grow lights we get. CO2, what is the amount of CO2 exchange into place, etc., right? And sensors can sense this up. Sensors can tell you what's going on in your spaces, okay? So, repurpose to grow. We don't need anything with this because Derek is going to be doing this with his hands. This is great. I'm glad we made it to this part. This was starting to be a little rough because I was like, my God, my videos, my perfect videos. So we're going to be using a milk carton. Now, at home, I have an aquarium that I have outfitted to be a greenhouse. That aquarium has a heating mat on the floor of it, on the bottom of it. It sits on a wooden dresser, okay? That heating mat is set by a Wi-Fi plug to basically go on and off along with my lights, okay? I did have a video showing kind of what that looks like, but y'all won't ever see it. So with that being said, we're just gonna go into the other part, but it's a great way to go. Now this other part is using a milk jug in order to make an enclosure. Again, similar to a terrarium, similar to a greenhouse. For seed starting, when you're doing winter seeds, this is a great way to start your seeds. This is a technique that I've seen online for years, but I only started paying attention to it after a dear friend of mine who recently passed showed me how this really legitimately works. Because I'm all for doing something that is legitimate. You get a milk jug. All of us drink milk, or water, some type of plastic jug, a plastic container. You get a box cutter. I have on some cut-proof gloves because I would hate to be bleeding in front of y'all. And we're gonna go for it. I cleaned this out. There's still some water in here, but I swear that water is kind of clean. When it comes kind of clean, no? Okay, I thought that was funny. It's okay. So it's like, dang, I thought that was funny. Y'all a tough crowd. I'm going to get my box cutter, and again, I got these cut-proof gloves. I'm going to cut around the edge of this. I'm cutting up high because I want there to be enough room for soil to be, at the bottom of this here apparatus, okay? Enough soil means great root growth. Great root growth leads to great plant growth. Again, for those of you who are like, I want to just overwinter seeds, this is your way to do it. You could also do it potentially indoors. I have some that are started indoors just to be able to show it off. I'm going to get my good box cutter in here, and I'm cutting a straight line. Ooh, it's so straight. Do this whole situation, okay? And I'm cutting to get it open something like this, okay? Thank you. Thank you. I need all of that because this, I tell you, my stuff not working and the computer not working, Derek is spent. Now, what am I going to do with this? If I wasn't already tired and lazy, I would fill this with dirt, put my seeds in at their required length. Once I put the seeds in, I can tape this back up. I bought tape and everything. I bought duct tape because I was going to show you how to do this. But you know what? You want to be my volunteer? You can. Come on. Come on. You want to throw these gloves on so you don't dirty up your hands? What we're going to do is, and she's going to take this with her because she didn't know that she's going to volunteer and take this with her. You're going to put soil in the bottom. We're going to pretend like I had seeds here. If you were doing cuttings of something like mint or whatever, you can also do them in this same way. But that should be enough soil to put at the bottom of, oh, before we do that, yes. Derek forgot. She's going to do it. She's going to cut 2 slits at the bottom of this so it can drain. There we go. Yes, ma'am. You know, while she's doing that, go ahead. Mm-hmm. But is there a difference in the lighting? Because of course the water containers I have are clear. Does it make a difference if in fact it's a water bottle, like a big like something that's clear like this versus something that's opaque like that. So a question for everybody is, she has clearer bottles versus these opaque bottles. Is there a difference in the amount of light going in? Yes. Now, which is best? To be honest, it's negligible when you're starting because this is something just to start stuff in and move it, right? If I start something in this, even something as small as this is something for me to start something in to move it. Now, the aquarium that I keep my plants in, which is on the video that y'all won't ever see, is, you looked at everything, got Cola, she looked right up at it. I pointed, I got her, but with that, I would then say, like, you definitely want something clear. Especially for my aquarium, I want to be able to look in. So I look in, I want it clear and everything. So she's gonna take her container, open it up as best as she can, and put the soil inside. Okay, this soil that you use, and maybe people were like, what soil do you use, Derek? I mix up my own soil. Some of you may be like, I want your recipe. And some of you probably want that recipe, right? Y'all want that recipe? You won't get it because that's my secret. I got y'all hyped for nothing. They thought they was gonna get my secrets. My secret stuff, that's right. My herbs and spices up in there. They ain't getting that. So, is it for sale? It's not. Y'all get this. I got a couple of bags here. Yeah, you're just gonna put it in.
Tell me when.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm. So that Krabby Patty recipe. So we have this full to a certain extent. I could put a little more soil in here, but again, this would be for seed starting. I'm starting seeds, or I'm starting cuttings, or I'm overwintering cuttings. If I'm overwintering seeds in this little greenhouse apparatus, what happens come spring? Boing. That's right. You definitely getting something when you leave here. The rest of y'all gotta catch up. The rest of y'all gotta catch up. She is hype. She was here about 2 hours early. The rest of y'all gotta catch up. So that's right. We love that. So these come out. I don't leave it in here. Now, if I planned on leaving something in here, then I could just take this top off and just let it stay in there until I plan on moving them. I have attempted to start seeds. For those of you who are doing overwintering outdoors, especially in this way, I've attempted to start seeds and I failed. Why did I fail? The amount of light on my patio when I was doing this was not sufficient. So the temperature wasn't getting it. So I wasn't getting 6 hours plus of light. I was getting maybe 2. What direction is my patio? I think it is like a southeast or something. It's actually, no, I think it's southwest, but I have a tree line. So the way my apartment is aimed, thank you for your help. I appreciate you. Claps for her, please. Claps for her, please. So the way my tree line is arranged, even though my patio, it can get decent amount of light, depending on where I have things is one thing. So I had this like on the floor of my patio, which is part one where it just didn't work. I needed to have it up, but if I had it up on the railing, it would blow off. We've seen stuff blow off on my patio before. And I drop stuff off of there all the time. And part two was the tree line is so high that it doesn't really give me the full 6. Because the first 3 or so hours is just the trees being like, oh, this is nice. So let's see what else Derek got in here. What time is it? 2:27. There's no place like home. So look, I got another thing to do after this. I can't even I can't keep going until they tell me to get out. So right here was a video. This is on my Instagram. For those of you who Google, you can go to the Instagram or to Google and say like Derek Aquarium Greenhouse something, and there's a video that popped up. Okay, that video was so gorgeous, and it showed me working in that greenhouse aquarium. And again, it's a thing where I use equipment to make something happen. An aquarium is like a greenhouse because of what? It is enclosed, right? In most cases, you have multiple sides of enclosures except for the roof. And for some cases, you can buy a glass enclosure or just rig something up in order to cover it up. Because of that, I can put windows or lights on top of the windows of it, which I did, and I fixed them with magnets. Again, that video didn't show it, but there's other videos where I do show this thing being made. This plant is looking a little worse for wear. Why is it looking worse for wear? You see that? This soil level is getting down because Derek uses a high hand when I'm watering. I'll be splashing like this, boom, dirt goes out, soil goes out. It looks a little raw. So I'm just going to add a little bit more to it. Luckily enough, I have some that is from plants that went on to grow with Jesus. Hallelujah. All I needed was one pot. And I have it connected to a Wi-Fi enabled plug. That plug has programming, automations, where I can say it is sunrise to sunset. How many hours of light do I want these plants to have? That goes deeper into plant care. I'm growing aeroids in this. Aeroids are your philodendron, your pothos, your monstera, vanilla orchid, and a couple of sansevierias and 2 more orchids that are some type of phalaenopsis. I'm growing them in this area. So I'm keeping it hot and humid. So that heating pad is on all day. Even now, my apartment where my temperature is generally like 72 in the summer, my greenhouse environment can be in the 80s or 90s. The humidity generally goes from 50 to 90. How does that change? Again, in this aquarium, I'm watering. I add water that jumps the humidity up. Similar to this. When I add water to this, even though there's already some amount of water vapor in this soil, and I close this up and I tape it. There we go. I was like, how should she do this? And I tape it. That has now made an enclosure where humidity can build up. And that humidity can be beneficial for getting my seeds started or keeping my aeroids happy. I have some beautiful philodendron Selim Gold that I'm growing that have these phenomenally long roots, these phenomenally long adventitious roots, 5 or 6 inches. I'm gonna come to you. I know we answered one question. I gotta, since we don't have this video especially, I gotta keep on this train of thought. Equipped to go is sensors. Hopefully this picture comes up because we're almost done, but it probably won't. You can find all the equipment that I was going to suggest to you, lights and everything I said, at a QR code that's right there. Y'all see that QR code? That QR code is right there. Find it here. It's amazing. They can all follow me and send me a message, but Derek is about automation, and that's why he don't want a piece of paper. But what we can do is this. All of you signed up for this class, right? I will talk to the people. You signed up for this class? Good. I was like, you didn't shook your head. I was like, God, you're gonna miss out. So all of you signed up for this class. What I'll do is I'll hit up Eric and them to see, because apparently I hear y'all were getting text and everything and all types of other information. Okay, that wasn't from me. I didn't know about that until today. I don't want y'all to think I was texting you a lot. I have no clue who was doing that. But I'm going to talk to the people and get that information, and that way I could just send it to you. Okay? And that will be a kit that leads to my Amazon links. If you do buy off of those kits and those links, I do get some money kickback off of that. Just FY Izzle, but it will say some of the things I use. Aquariums and stuff like that, I get off of the marketplace, or I score stuff from like cheap. These plastic bottles, I just get them for cheap, get them for free. Thrift stores, Facebook Marketplace, everywhere else. We have one question that was in the back.
So I want to know that your plants that you're growing in your aquarium, are those seeds or are those from heaven?
Those are actually full-grown plants. I do have some seeds. There's a picture of me up there. I do have some seedlings I've done. Thank you. I have some seedlings. I have some cuttings, but most of them are plants I purchased at a local vendor, and then I wanted to just beef them up to make cuttings. And then I have a section where I leave all my cuttings at, which is kind of like hanging in the greenhouse, but not really. Yes.
Oh,
Hello.
thank you so much for sharing that incredible image of yourself. I was wondering about microclimates. I don't remember you mentioning that term, but in reference to
You wouldn't.
greenhouses,
Uh-huh.
I would love to hear you talk more about that right quick.
When it comes to microclimates, okay, microclimates are basically an area where that climate of that specific area is different than the rest of it. In a greenhouse, even a whole big greenhouse where the whole temperature should be 80 degrees or 90 degrees Fahrenheit, in the 20s to 30s Celsius, there can be microclimates. There can be certain pockets that are cooler than others, right? And it could be for various reasons. This greenhouse is a microclimate that we're making. My aquarium greenhouses, which are just aquariums and lights, is literally a microclimate. And in that area, it is warmer. Similar to if you just had a heating mat. You just have a heating mat and you put your plants on that heating mat, that general area is warmer. When I water all of my plants, that general area is now more humid because that water is eventually evaporating out. When I water my plants outdoors, that area is going to be more humid as that water is dripping down and messing with that whole area. Over time, it normalizes, but it's a microclimate. It's literally that small little room. Like I close that door to my room. This is my microclimate. Very good question. Yes, Davida.
Can I share with everyone what I do to make a really super easy greenhouse?
Go for it.
Exactly where to go? Okay. I like to put my potted plants in water dispensers because with a water dispenser, it is enclosed, many of them are clear, and many of them are roomy enough to fit a plant that is in a 4-inch pot. You go to Michael's, you go to the party centers, they have a big water dispenser with a big opening at the top. It is crystal clear. It's usually $19.99, but if you get their coupon, like 30% off, you can bring it down to $16. You can get a plant out there in a 4-inch pot, drop it in with the soil, close it, get a little water, close it. You won't have to water that plant for weeks, and you can just watch it grow through the dispenser.
Thank you so much. All right.
We love to see it. We love a gym. Who else had a question? We got this one in the back.
So just really for clarification purposes, so like let's say I start having like a seed in a little carton or whatever.
Mhm.
Once I move it out to the aquarium, I can kind of put it in any room because it'll have, the lights, whatever. Because one part of our house gets better light than the other part.
Mhm.
However, I think it'll be better in the darker part of the house. I don't want it to die, obviously.
So you can basically move it in that better area and then change that area up using grow lights. And again, that other link would have been like, these are the grow lights I use. But we can't have nice things. So you would be able to change that area and change it up, especially if you're closing it up. You're making a little box of time. I'm gonna come back to you. Yes. What is the brand of grow lights I use? I never remember. It's on the link. I go to the Amazing. There's two I use. It's actually like long, I think T8s. And then there's a stand, which I always have to find the new link for this like stand where it has like a couple of light arms out of it. Those of you probably seen it. I feel like 30 people make these. And I have like two of them, one that broke and then one that is kind of going its way out. This is where I prefer the T8s. Yes,
So
I think it's
ask
that.
you a question since we just addressed green lights. Green lights got really expensive.
Yes.
So I switched over to LEDs,
Mm-hmm.
and I seem to have a lot of success with that.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a drawback to using the long LEDs?
The long LED, so this would go into a conversation versus regular grow lights. This will go into conversation of light spectrum
Yes.
because grow lights versus LEDs are going to do different colors of light, different spectrums of light. And your plants, all the plants that you're growing want to eat, for lack of a better term, a different combination of light spectrums, right? We all have family members that don't eat certain things, right?
Yep.
My mama can't stand tomatoes, but she eats ketchup and this and that and the other. But also, I'm the only person in my family to eat some of the crazy stuff I eat, which works for me because then people don't eat my stuff.
Yes.
So if you're seeing no overall negativity, I generally say go with it.
Yeah, because
But if you're trying to like start seedlings, sometimes it's better. Not always, but sometimes it's better to go with a grow light.
of course, the Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
The Chinese have adapted an LED grow light, and
Okay.
I ordered them from Amazon, and I have an area that's like 6 feet long
Mm-hmm.
by 5 feet wide, and the grow lights for that were less than $60.
Yeah. So some of these grow lights
And my power bill,
is
the heat.
oh yeah.
That
So when I
is
say
better.
grow lights, we definitely, and I should have said this at the top, it's definitely LEDs. The grow lights of the halogen bulbs and all these other things that do add a lot of heat, I'm not using. Some of the grow lights I'm using for 4 of them may be like $60 to $80, right? And it's something where I have 4 of them, I get them, I use them, I go for it. Do you need those? Well, there's actually like grow lights that are literally light bulbs that you can put into your light sockets, right? And then they're lighting up your room anyway, and now you're getting the best of both worlds.
In July,
Mhm.
Home Depot, they mark them down because I got a bunch last year for $2 each.
There you
Just
go.
threw in the bulb in the thing.
And when you go to some of your garden centers, they may have discounts too. Did you have something?
Yeah, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
About the milk jug.
Yeah.
Do you leave the top on there?
Yep.
And you put the hole at the bottom.
Yes. So
So
they're
you just let it grow in there until like the season for you to transport.
tape it all the way up.
Yeah,
If I need to open it up and look,
but then you close it.
because then if I need to water,
So is the frequency of watering it varies probably because it's winter time?
it would vary by winter time and what media you're using. The medias I make sometimes are a little more water heavy and water happy because I like my plants to be happy and be better than everybody else's. But it just depends. I mean, that's a true statement. Like that wasn't even a joke. That's just a legitimate thing. Like that's just how I feel. So it depends on that. It depends on your environment. North Carolina winters are still going to be less humid than our summers, but more humid than like Arizona or Las Vegas. So you have to consider. I just noticed your herbology shirt. I got that same shirt. Go you. They're going to be less humid. So you got to think about your environmental factors and check on it. And then once you say like, oh, it's drying out, you water it a little bit. But since it's self-contained, you're not going to have to water it as much as the same volume of soil that's open. Okay, and I know you had something. Did anybody else have something before we come back to her? Yes.
I was going to make a recommendation.
Okay, recommendation.
4th of July is coming up. We're all going to have potato salad, coleslaw. You want all your relatives' mayonnaise jars. And you want to encourage all your relatives to buy mayonnaise in great big jars. Because with my kids, I do terrariums,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a perfect clear. There's enough room to put your hand in and out. You twist them closed. And with my kids, what I do is have them go out and grab a handful of dirt and throw it in the jar and throw water in and put the lid on. And that's their world. And I have them check it every week to see what's growing. And these kids, every single world is different. Different things are growing. So it's kind of a fun thing to do with your kids. But that's the perfect greenhouse.
We love that. Mayonnaise jars. And same note, you get like certain sauce jars, right? Any of these mason jars, you can keep and just even use as propagation stations,
Yes.
which is not a greenhouse, but I mean, it's something where I use. I have a thing. I hoard mason jars and glass. If they have a glass shortage, I could just unshort them one day and still have glass. It's amazing. But I use all these jars. I buy all these jars and I love them. So, any other questions before we go ahead and break out? Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever put that on heat mat?
On a which one?
The idea of the milk jug or any of those jugs, have you ever put them on a heat mat?
I have some on a heat mat right now. I haven't got any calls that nothing's burnt down, so we should be good. I've been gone since, Friday, and I did them early this week. So, yeah, unless they're like, we're really not going to call him until he gets back. We'll see what happens when I get home. So not in these, I've recently done in heating mats. These I would say more so put in a sunny window, but some of my soil conditions in general, I may have a mold issue. And that could just be not even just moisture content, but just opportunity. Just opportunity for there to be. With that being said, when I generally run into mold issues, I either let things dry out, I use peroxide, or now use a product called Impello, which is a microbial inoculant to knock out the pest, which I'd show you, but no internet. So if you go to my Instagram, you'll see like YouTube or TikTok, you'll see those videos where I'm like, mold, getting rid of mold. Any other questions? Okay. Algae. I don't deal with algae a lot anymore. I used to, but that is something that I've quashed if it does become a problem with peroxide. I have 30%, 33% peroxide in my house, so I can dilute it to whatever percent I need to get rid of a lot of stuff. So yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I was just casually wondering what was your favorite podcast?
My favorite podcast, other than the one I do on Mondays, because there's that one I do on Monday. See, she thought I was gonna start with her, and she know I do the one on Mondays. On Mondays, Eastern Standard Time. Eastern Standard Time, I am on a podcast with Andre the Farmer. Okay, we love him, we know him. Gray, Urban Gardening with Gray. He has the cowboy hats. We know him, we love him. And myself, the Chocolate Botanist, and we are doing the Dirt on Gardening. We talk for an hour, 8 p.m. to 9. Okay, the Dirt on Gardening. We're live on Instagram. So you see any of our Instagrams, we go live, you join, we talking. This past week, we talked about growing in small spaces, right? We did all of that. So, and it goes kind of into this whole thing of, again, using what you got to get what you need. Being creative and mindful with, if I don't have enough space, if I don't have enough location, if I don't have enough money, that's been some of my issue. What can I do to get by? How can I get something from somebody, or, hey, save this for me, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that podcast is up there, but the first podcast that ever got me on is indeed, I was hoping she'd bring me the mic, is indeed the Black in the Garden podcast. Amen. So, we love to see it. Any other questions? So, here's the thing. I didn't think there was going to be this many people. I never knew how many people were signing up. So, I bought soil from home. Okay, for those of you who are like, I want to know what it is. I recycle soil. This is pretty much a very simple thing, right? So, I have some bags of soil here. If you are like, I need it, please take it, okay? If you need pots, I have pots here. If you're like, I don't need this 6-pack, I just need to take a couple, take it. Somebody can take that milk jug with the soil in it, because guess who don't want it? Me, right? And finalmente, I have this beautiful product here named Retain, who is one of the sponsors of the podcast I'm on, the Dirt on Gardening. It lubricates, it sanitizes, stop rust. It's a great thing to use on your tools when you are gardening, because when you are trying to get your greenhouses set up and your plants taken care of, having a pest or a disease can ruin the whole thing, right? I have gnats sometimes, And I have to do a lot to get rid of those gnats. So make sure you come up and get one of these. Okay, you coming up to get one of these?
Oh, yes.
Okay, great. She was already, see, y'all should have been fast like her. Y'all should have been fast like her. So y'all come on now. I've been Derek Haynes, the Chocolate Botanist, and y'all have a great day.
Everybody give a round of applause for Derek the Chocolate Botanist.